Hello, this is the Silver Watchman, and welcome back to Jack and Jill. This is episode 2. Now, in the last episode, we talked about a topic. In this episode, it's all dependent on what God wants to talk about, so let's leave it at that for now. We're going to talk about love. Now, what is love? Don't hurt me. Okay. Now, what is love? Throughout the years, people have described love as a feeling, a strong connection to another living being or item. And that is what is described as a love. Some would say it is some would say that it is a feeling. Like butterflies in your stomach. Quite frankly, in my opinion, if you feel like you have butterflies in your stomach, then you might have cancer. You might be dying. I'm not gonna. If you feel like you have butterflies in your stomach, you might have cancer, or you might be very, very sick. You might have what I like to call the gaseous oh no moment. Yes. But let's go back to love. Love, despite what many would say, is not a feeling. Oh, far from it. Love is a decision that is made every day when you wake up, every day when you're about to go to sleep, and every day, every second of the day that you're with what you love. That's why when people say, oh, I just felt like I couldn't love them anymore, it honestly irritates me to a degree. But it is dependent. Love is a choice. It is an active, consistent choice that you make consistently. Now, I choose to love the Lord, and God chooses to love us. Yes. It is an active choice. Just like this weird, blob of blobbiness chooses to go through these treacherous worlds to be with, they never really specify, so we're just going to assume that thing that has a bow on its head is his wife, because that makes sense. I mean, you would go through heaven and hell just to be with the person that you're going to be married with, which is what God did with us. So we wouldn't have to spend an eternity without him. God literally went through heaven and hell for us, receiving a brutal beating by the hands of his own creation. By the hands of his own creation. Not once did he ever curse us while he was getting beaten. He blessed us. And even spoke on our behalf against all of his own power. That's amazing. That is absolutely amazing. God chose to die and then come back from the dead for us. Now, in those 3 days that he was dead, here's what happened. He had gone down to hell to retrieve those that were within Abraham's bosom. Now, for those of you that don't know what Abraham's bosom is yet, we're going to get to that in the Bible. But for the sake of, saving you some time, at least for a little bit, you really should check out that series. Abraham's bosom is basically a part of hell that's separated from the rest. It's basically like what the Catholics would refer to as purgatory. It is a place for those who lived righteously for God but didn't make it. They weren't able to make it into heaven. So God made that place for them. So they would have somewhere to go, so they're not in hell. So when he died, he went down there, he grabbed everyone there, and then he brought them to heaven. And then he came down, which what some people think that was the second. No, that wasn't the second coming. He just came down to say pretty much hello and goodbye to all of his faithful disciples, the apostles. Oh man. I could just imagine how just surprised and happy and freaked out they were. Whether they're just there being depressed that, Jesus is dead. And then one guy just turned his head, and then Jesus was like, "Hey, I'm here." And can you imagine? They were just actually, I think it's even mentioned in the Bible, like how they were like, "Oh, wait, what?" Kind of they were thrown aback. But back to the original topic: what is love? Now, God did that because He loves us. He also defeated death and came back to life, which is why He visited His disciples, because He came back to life. Keep in mind, He was dead for 3 days. You don't just come back to life after being dead for 3 days. No, you don't do that. So He was pretty dead. And then He took His body up into heaven, and that's where it is now. So when God comes back, oh man, that's going to be so cool. Because He's going to be like just full authority and power coming down from heaven. And I'm not talking about, like from the sky heaven or from space heaven. I'm talking about He's coming from outside the universe, full glory, full power. Just like, I don't have a sound effect because I don't even know how that would sound. It would just be like, I don't know. Oh, but that'd be so cool. Oh, it's so cool. Oh, just to think about that. Okay, back to the original topic. Sorry, I'm getting sidetracked. So, when you love somebody, you really love them, and I'm not talking about like in a physical kind of way. That physical attraction is just that. It's a physical attraction. It's in a way, it's meaningless. It just lets you know that you're aware of that other person and that you like being around that person. But for you to love somebody, it's a conscious, active decision to put up with their, not only their best, but their worst as well, which is what God does for us. That's why, God doesn't recognize divorce, because love goes beyond that feeling of, wow, this person's amazing and whatever. It goes beyond that. Because that feeling is just a feeling. So as you get close and then you realize, that's why marriage is sacred, because you choose to stay with that person and to love them and honor them and to hold God at the center of your relationship. Marriages fall apart because the two participants stop choosing to learn more about each other or spend time or communicate, and that's what makes a marriage fall apart. It's not a feeling, and people mistake that for love, because this world is I'm trying to find a really nice way to put it, but let's just, let's just call it what it is. This world is full of it's full of lambs, sheep. Those of you that know the behavior patterns of a sheep know what I'm talking about. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, just look up sheep stampede and you will know exactly what I'm talking about. So, when you love someone, you choose things that are selfless. That's what love is, selflessness, not selfish, where you choose to do things for them, even if it's at the cost to you. Now, I can admit I'm not always the most loving of people. But oh my gosh. But I do try. But even I get frustrated from time to time. You know. And it's okay to get frustrated. It happens. We all get frustrated. Now the kind of relationship I would say don't stay in, but then again, I can't really say much at that same time. But if it's something that is endangering your life, don't remain in it. You have to trust God to change that person. You can't change them. Only God can change a heart. And that's true. He changed mine. So he could change anyone's. So when you love somebody, you choose to do things for them. Like, it could be something as simple as, you see that they have a bit of a mess, so you clean up the mess for them. Or like, something is broken, so you fix it for them. You know? Now I know what you're thinking. How do I know whether or not the person that I'm considering or I'm with is the person I'm supposed to be with? And that honestly is the question, isn't it? I can't answer that question for you too well. But I know who can. My grammar just took a downfall. Oh well. But yeah. The best person to ask is not even your parents on this matter, even though you can consult them, for advice and what whatnot. But the best person to consult for this would be God. God will let you know if you're listening. If you're not listening, then yeah, there's not much I can do for you. If you don't want to listen, then I can't make you listen to God. So if you don't want to listen when you ask God for an answer, make sure that you actually want to know. Because whether or not you want to know is irrelevant. God will tell you the answer that you need to know. And he does it in mysterious ways, sometimes through like some random person or let's see. It really does vary. Depending on how God tells you, he'll tell you in a way that you can understand. If you choose to ignore it, then that's on you. If God says, yes, you're supposed to be with this person, you're supposed to marry them and have so and so amount of children, then listen to God, because God knows, because he built you and that person to be married. And there's somebody for everyone in this world. For some people end up marrying multiple people because, their partner will pass away. Or they'll have an unfaithful partner in which God will recognize their divorce. Now, another topic of what love is. Love is not sexual intercourse. This is quite literally the first time I've actually said that word in this channel. But yeah, love is not, doing the, you guys diddling each other. No, that's not love. That's breeding, okay? That's not love. And doing that before marriage is a sin. Now, there's a reason it's a sin. See, God only makes something a sin when it's harmful to us. Sex is not bad. We need it to make babies so there could be more humans. And God says, be fruitful and multiply, but you have to be married. Adam and Eve were married. They were the first married couple on earth. So, when Adam first saw Eve, he's like, this is, I think it goes along the lines of, this is flesh of my flesh, bone of my bone, and I shall call her woman. And then later on, she became Eve, the mother of all creation, the mother of all humans. We have to go back to Genesis. But yeah, that's the basic gist of that scenario. Now, when God made Eve, he designed her to be for Adam, to be perfectly for Adam. So her Oh, good gosh, I was on a good roll. Okay, so her lady parts were designed to perfectly conform for his his male parts. I gotta remember to keep this like PG, so you could still watch this and have your kids in the room. So yeah, he designed her. So when they first did, their did the the making of the babies, they would both feel pretty good about it. That's why you feel pleasure when you do that. But you also leave a little piece of yourself behind every time you do that, and you're not married. That's why when you are married, you leave the pieces behind. With a woman will leave a piece of herself behind emotionally. A man literally physically leaves a piece of himself behind, and maybe emotionally too, I'm not sure, but definitely a physical piece behind. That's the male. That's the male reproductive goo that gets spewed out from his male parts. This is very difficult to keep this PG. Good gosh. Why do we touch on these subjects? Okay. So, yeah, that is not what love is. That is a happy bonus that goes with being married. That it should be reserved for people. Like when you're married, you guys trust each other, or you should trust each other. And if you don't trust each other, you need to spend more time together and learn each other better, get to know each other. And you're like, well, I already know her. You're like, I already know him. If you're here as a couple or as an individual, chances are you don't know them as well as you think you do. In which case, you got to get to know them better. For me, it's not that hard because, God's given me the ability to be able to see people's hearts. So the more time I spend around you, the more I know what kind of person you really are, no matter how well you hide it. But for other people, they don't have it as easy. So that's why you got to get to know the person better and ask God about it. I stress this because God knows what he's doing. Me, yeah, no, I don't, half the time I don't know what I'm doing. All right? But know this, that when you love somebody, it's a choice. It's a choice to remain by that person, even despite all of their flaws, all of their awkwardness, all of their, I don't know. Despite like everything positive and negative about them, you choose to remain by their side. And that's what love is. Now, this is hard for me to explain to you properly without the Bible series being completed. So I'm doing it as best as I can from how God is showing me. Because if the Bible series isn't completed, then a lot of what I'm saying isn't making a lot of sense. That's why I'm continuously working on the Bible series so that it does get completed, so you guys have an easier time understanding my videos. But for the time being, this is, yeah. So different things arise from actually doing stuff that is actually of love. Love is like you're very patient with the person that you love. You choose to be patient with them. You choose, and yeah, look, I get it. Like, people argue, all right? You're going to get upset, you're going to get annoyed, and that's normal. That's normal to get upset and annoyed. And that's just part of, love. There are different levels of love. There is a kind of, even though, yeah, it's all love, but you wouldn't love your father in the same way that you love your spouse. Same thing goes with your mother. You wouldn't love your mom the same way that you love your brother. So it's different levels. And when the way God loves us is He loves us when we choose Him and to receive the Holy Spirit. He loves us like we are His own flesh and blood. So naturally, He's going to discipline us like a father should, because He'll treat us like His kids. And believe it or not, I actually do that by default. Whenever I see a child, and regardless of who's the parent, what race it is, I end up treating the child as if it is my own kid. I don't know why that's built in. I honestly don't know. It can be inconvenient at times, but chances are I'll understand a little more when I'm older. So if you're having difficulty trying to understand what love is, I hope this cleared it up. This is going to be like with everything that's on this channel, subjects will be, revisited, and explained better as God reveals more to me. But for the time being, thank you for watching this video. Thank you for sitting through the entire video. Glory be to God. And blessings be upon you. It is truly an honor that I get to do this. That I've been chosen to do this. This is a blessing. So blessings be upon you. Thank you. This is the Silver Watchman, signing out.